Alright, good morning everybody. It's Wednesday and we're going to do another video for you guys today. I think we're going to have an interesting weather day. They want storms later on this afternoon. This mini heat wave that we've got going on is about to come to an end. Talk to you more about that later, but yesterday was a gorgeous day. Cracked 80 degrees almost everywhere region-wide. It was almost summer-like, and I think we're going to end up with summer-like thunderstorms later on this afternoon, but we're all pre-tripped, we're ready to go, so we'll talk to you as we always do throughout the course of the day, driving and when we're loading and unloading. Alright, so we're rolling on out. Itinerary today is well in the woods down to Lansdale for our first out, and then we have two Tamaqua to Fogelsvilles. So one extra load than what we had on Monday when we were able to wash this truck. So yesterday we had Fogelsville first, then a Lansdale, and then we went to Redding. But I didn't bring the cameras out yesterday because I wanted to save for today, because I know that there's possibly some interesting weather later on. Good chance of at least strong storms this afternoon. I don't know if we'll catch them before our shift is over, or they were originally saying after 1 o'clock. Now it seems like it might be after 4 o'clock, so I'm not sure when they're going to come. But summer-like pattern here. The last video, it was in the low 70s. Yesterday was in the low 80s pretty much everywhere. My backyard hit 79. It was just a beautiful summer day. Almost a carbon copy of Monday, but warmer. Today's going to be warm. It's supposed to still be in the low to mid 70s today, but they want the storms later on this afternoon. And we go back to seasonal norms for a while, and even over the weekend might get back up into the low 50s. But then next week, by St. Paddy's Day, the forecast now is for a high temperature of only 32. So winter's not done yet, and I'm not naive enough to think that it is, but it kind of stinks that it's going to get that cold again. I don't mind going back to seasonal temperatures, but when we start dropping down 10-15 degrees below seasonal temperatures, then I don't like it so much. So but we're almost to the end. I mean, we're middle March now, so any kind of cold weather we get shouldn't be persistent like it was back in December, January, and February. All right, well, I just talked to our one driver who was coming out, and he told me that one of our other drivers is in there right now. So I guess we don't have to do our typical video sequence in there of coming in and seeing who's there and then backing up and all that. We'll save other footage, and we'll just talk to you now a little bit as we look into the sun going up this road here. But yeah, the other guy's in there, and he's got an 8, so we'll probably have to wait about 20 minutes till he's done, and then we'll be able to load up. But not a real big deal, because we're doing this one as a first out, and we shouldn't have too much of a traffic problem down there in Lansdale backing in. So all right, so the other driver is leaving, and we're hooked up and we are loading as we speak. I did all my paperwork while he was loading up, so all I had to do was put the time on it, and we're done with that. And I got to go in the truck and put the bill of lading number on my slip that I turn in the office, and then we're pretty much good to go. And we'll talk to you a little bit more after I do all that. So I'll tell you what, this weather really can spoil a person, especially someone who loves the warm summer type weather. I mean, here it is, 9:30 in the morning, and I'm already jacketless. Of course, it's not going to stay this way. This is the last day of this for a while, but you really get spoiled when you get weather like this so early in the season, because they'd like it to last now until like October, but it won't. You know, we're going to get our cold snaps and dicey weather even into April sometimes. Quite a few years back, we had April snowstorm. We had a couple April snowstorms. I remember one when I was a kid back in '82. We got a foot of snow down there in the Allentown, Bethlehem area, and it was real cold for a couple days afterwards. But even as far back as, I don't know, about 15 years ago, maybe 20 years ago, not long after I moved back from Arizona, and the first time, that we had an April snowstorm right before Easter. So yeah, you get them every now and again, but even with that being said, the winter season's winding down, so anytime it gets cold, it's generally fairly brief. And if it does snow, other than the fact that it brings the salt trucks out and makes a mess of everything, this warm summer, spring sun will start melting it right quick. It's not like when you get a snowstorm in January and the sun's so low it has no strength to melt snow. 2 days after you get 4 or 5 inches of snow, most of it's gone now if you get some sunshine afterwards, just because of how strong the sun is this time of year. It's actually equivalent to almost a September sun, so the sun has some good melting power to it at this time of year. But anyway, we're loading up, and you know the routine. We'll talk to you on the way down there somewhere along the way, and then of course we'll talk to you down there after we drop and hook. All right, so starting to see some thicker, heavier clouds. I didn't look at radar because it's not supposed to rain till this afternoon, but starting to see some thicker, heavier clouds moving in, and that was something I had just read on the weather board, was that if we don't get a lot of sun today, it's going to keep the instability down, and then we may not get the severe storms. There's a chance that it's more overcast than it is sunny, and you need that sun to destabilize the atmosphere, and that's what causes the stronger and severe storms. But anywhere that maintains sunshine today has an outside chance at a tornado. So the threat is there, but it just depends on whether we get overcast and stay overcast, or if we break back out into any sunshine. Well, let's see if we can... Nope, got one coming from our right, and I will not force him to brake, so we'll just wait till he goes by. Because we need both lanes to make this turn. Otherwise, we'll put the trailer in a ditch and we'll lift the drive tires right off the ground. We don't want to do that, because then we'll cause more problem than anything is worth. So, but we're on the move. Probably see more sunshine the further south we go. The further north up this way, probably the less sunshine today. Alright, so I don't know what's up with these signs here. I wasn't expecting a construction zone as we come up here to the top of the mountain, and you're probably not going to be able to hear my voice that well because I'm pulling hard here, and it seems like the vibration of the engine and the harmonics of everything kind of drown out my voice until I back off the throttle a little bit. But evidently it says that the right lane is closed, but there really isn't a right lane here, so we're probably going to run down the northbound Hammer lane the way it looks. What do we got here? A little deceiving, man. And couldn't quite tell what was going on, but yeah, here we go. This is what we got. This is what I thought. Guardrail work. Boy, this is tight. A little bit of a tight one here. Well, not a big zone, but awkward place for it. And that was a tight lane. Sometimes they give you a little bit more room than what they gave you in that one. But alright, now down the other side we go, and we don't have to worry. I guess that's the only construction we're gonna have to worry about. Alright folks, I wasn't really gonna show this to you because I show it to you almost every time I come down here. You've seen it. However, the parameters have changed a little bit, and I've got to move this trailer over to the left. I don't know, I think it's like 4 or 5 feet according to what our night driver told me. And this is the third spot. There are no markings for this particular spot because this customer was originally only 2 trailers, One being unloaded, one in transit, but they ramped up production a little bit, and so it became 3 trailers where 2 are dropped down here and 1 is in transit. So there's 2 painted line spots for the 2 drop tankers, but where I gotta put this one, there isn't any painted line. So I gotta play a guessing game for now, and we'll see what happens. Now, good, nothing's coming, so I can do this. Now let's hope the car that turned right just keeps on going here, and we'll... No, they're gonna... What are they? They're gonna go. They're gonna go. And the pickup truck is gonna wait. Okay. Okay. Now I may have to wiggle around in here until I get it figured out where it's gonna go. Maybe. Maybe not. We'll see. Let's see how it works. Like I said, I gotta move it to the left driver's side some. He said he moved one of the cones, so... Let's hope that this is what he meant. I would have had it one shot, but now I'm a little bit crooked. And he said not to push it back quite so far, because there is a pretty long hose here, so I don't have to push it back quite as far as the other ones are, but I guess what I'll do is I'll get out and look, see what we got. Let's hope I put it in the spot that he was thinking. I think what I'll do is get right close to that cone. All right, let's see what we got. All right, so you see where it says tanker. This is one spot, and where that tank is, if you moved it to the left, almost where mine is now that I'm hooked up to, these are the 2 original dedicated spots, and they added the 3rd tanker, which is this one. So you can see how far I had to move it over. Originally, when I backed in here, I was on this yellow line, but I went and talked to the guy just to make sure before I actually dropped it, and he said to bring it over that way a little bit and push it out to the end of those divots there, because what they need, they don't need room for a snowplow anymore to get through here, but they need to be able to get a pickup truck through this gap right here. So we moved the trailers up a little bit and over a little bit. Because the reason we had moved them to the right was so that they could get their snowplow between, through that gap in the building there over my shoulder. And they could bring it out front here to this parking lot. And they could plow back there where the van trailers and reefer trailers are in their loading docks, come through that gap in the building, and come out here and plow this one. So they wanted us to move the tanks over to the right. But now the snow season is just about over, they want to put the tanks back where they belong. Now we found ourselves a little bit of sunshine up here by Allentown, by the service plaza. Actually, well, we did. It kind of went behind a cloud again, but there are some blue skies up here, so a little bit of fair weather. But I think rain's coming. I think we're going to see it before the end of our shift. Whether it's going to be on this load or the 3rd load, I don't know, but I do think we're going to see a little bit of rain before we go home tonight. But we're almost ready to get off the turnpike, and it kind of a shame, you know, you could almost run up one more exit, go through the tunnel, and you get off up there at Mahoning Valley and shoot across 443. Could. But that costs more money. So we really don't want to add to the toll. So we get off here at Allentown and then just go up 100 and 309. I think the other way would be faster, and there was a time when we used to load up in Whitehaven, the guy that used to run this Lansdale run would just stay on here, go all the way up to 80, run over the 2 exits to get off at the Whitehaven exit, and get his load up there, and then bring it right back down the pike to Fogelsville. But we don't do that anymore. There is a company that runs out of that Whitehaven well, but we don't go up there anymore. I wouldn't mind. I mean, I had been up there, but it's probably about 10 years since the last time I was up at that Whitehaven well. It's kind of nice. It's pretty deep into the woods. It's got quite a bit of a dirt road to run on till you get to it, but it's kind of a nice pickup point back in there. And you got all freeway. The guys that are running that for the other company, they got generally off freeway. They get out of that well and they get on 80 and run down this thing to this exit here and jump off on 2278, and they only got a little bit of Route 100 to run, but everything else is freeway for them. But the run is kind of expensive because they got to pay that turnpike toll from 80 down to here. It might be built into the rate, but it's still got to run the turnpike and pay the toll. Alright, going past Northwestern Lehigh High School up here New Tripoli, and starting to see the dark clouds off to the west and the northwest up there. It would not surprise me that we don't get some kind of rain activity here. Maybe even before I get up to the well, but probably, and I could be wrong, I gotta look at radar and see, but maybe before we get back down this way with the load, we might see some rain, because it's looking kind of dark and not ominous, but menacing. We know that rain is coming, we know that storms are coming. How bad they're going to be, how severe they're going to be, that remains to be seen, but the sky suddenly has that look to it. It went from just normal overcast to some blue sunny skies. Now we're up here and seeing these dark clouds, so something's gonna happen. And boy, I'm kind of on the fence. I brought the cameras out thinking make for a cool video if we ran into some good heavy rain and a windy thunderstorm, but now that I'm thinking about it, it's 73 degrees out. I just like to hold this nice dry weather until the end of the day, and then I can do it at once after I get done with work. Oh man, it's kind of selfish to think that way, but it's kind of where I'm leaning to now, because after today this nice weather goes away and we get colder again, as I explained to you earlier in the video. So we will see. Now, come on, there is nobody around, nothing coming. Take your turn, dude. Take your turn. There you go. Anyway, you know, what will be, will be. But we're making our way up there. See what we get when we get there. Like I said, it kind of almost looks like it might be raining up on the other side of the mountain. Now that I'm looking at it, the way the gray sky looks, it might be raining on the other side of the mountain. I guess it was better to say that it'd be raining on top of the mountain. I kind of called that one. It just, the sky had that look. It went from that dark gray to a lighter gray, and I'm thinking, yeah, that's probably some rain. But I thought it would be up closer to Tamaqua. I didn't think we'd see it up here on the top of the mountain already. So much for the warm, dry weather. So much for the clean truck. Temperature went from 73 to 62. This rain cooled it down already. All right, well, a couple of things. Number one, the sun is back out. The rain has stopped. And number two, yesterday's 80-degree temperatures and the day before was 75 and today's 70 really destroyed that big snow pile that was plowed over there that made it difficult to get into this well to load. All that's left are a couple of little inconsequential piles that don't bother us a bit. No, it just destroyed that thing. That was like 4 or 5 foot high and I don't know how many feet long, and it's just about gone. So I just looked at the radar, and I think we're going to be in the clear for a while. The storm that we drove through, or the rain that we drove through, is actually pushing from southwest to northeast. And most of the heavier activity looks like it's going to scoot by to our north and west. So at least for a little while, we're going to be in good shape. I don't know if it's going to be sunny like this the rest of the afternoon, but I think we're going to stay mostly dry. So that'll be a good thing, I guess. But if we can hold this sun for a while, then we might get some good boomers later on. So we will see. Well, that little bit of rain was just enough to really dirty up our tires. Remember, I washed the truck on Monday afternoon and got the wheels all nice and shiny and the tires all nice and black. I mean, I didn't use tire black, but I made sure to hit the tires themselves with the brush and got them all nice and clean. And they're dirty again. Not with road salt, but it looks like dirt. There's a dirt driveway back there behind us, and right now it's mud, and all the traffic that was coming out of it dragging mud out onto the road. So I think that might be where I had gotten some of that dirt, but I knew it was coming. I think I told you guys before I even washed the truck, I said it was only going to be nice for a couple days because they wanted rain, but it just needed to be washed. So we did. Now it'll be easier to wash it as long as we don't get any more winter weather. It'll be easier to keep it clean once we get some nice weather again. Something is rattling again in this truck. I don't know if it's these torches back there behind me in the little bin, but just little rattles in this truck that are kind of annoying me, and I have no doubt that the cameras and the microphone is picking it up and probably might be drowning my voice out a little bit. It sounds like it's in the dash too. Everything is so plastic nowadays that it just rattles. Probably even from brand new they rattle. I don't know. I'd like to get my hands on. We bought a new Western Star that's going to go to our second and senior driver. I wouldn't doubt that thing has rattles already and it's brand new. I don't know, but yeah, this one's got quite a few of them around, and it's got 299,000 miles on it, so we're just about to flip to 300. So she's been around the block a few times and things start loosening up. So I'm gonna develop some rattles, but nonetheless it annoys me. I do like a quiet environment if I can get it. But in a truck you really can't. So one of our coal buckets, get off this bumpy part of the road. They're going to be bumpy all the way down to the mountain, but we'll take this smooth section while we've got it. Like I said, this road is falling apart, and PennDOT is not going to do anything to it until 2029, which is ridiculous. I mean, they could mill down an inch or an inch and a half and just throw a layer of blacktop on it for the next 3 years and get it in a little better shape until they can actually strip it down and repair the sub road. You know, but they aren't going to do a thing to it. They might band-aid some stuff here and there, but they aren't going to do much. So anyway, topping the Ridge Cup here in a few minutes, and I'm going to go down the other side through the valley and then climb the Blue and so forth and so on. So we'll talk to you, I don't know, here, there, or somewhere. Sound like Dr. Seuss. All right. We are here, as we always are. One truck, I watched him turn the corner there at the light, and he is backing on the pad right now. Which one did he take? He's gonna leave me the good one, I guess. So we'll go down, we'll do the flip, and I'll take pump number 4. I'm surprised he took pump number 2. That's the one that's the one that acts up the most. So kind of interesting that he took the one he took, but we'll take pump 4. That's the best one here. Flip the U-turn here where we got plenty of room. Wonder if this is that same white van that pulled out in front of me the other day. Boy, he come blasting out from between the two trucks and he almost hit. And it would have been his fault, not mine, but that was just kind of funny. They back in there, do what they need to do, and they're in a hurry to go, and he come out of there and didn't even think that there might have been a truck coming. All right, let's see how we do. Shouldn't have any problem unloading. There was nobody here until the other guy got here, so should be all right. Should probably be able to go. Ease her on. Just ease her on. There we go. We're in. Alright, so we're here unloading. 2 of us are able to unload at the same time, which is kind of what I thought. I had heard overnight it was pretty slow. My night shift partner said that she had to wait 3 hours on her second load from the time she got here till the time she was able to start unloading. So it wasn't the greatest of nights, but it got better for day shift because nobody was here. This guy came in just ahead of me, and he started his pump, and then I came out and started my pump, and we're both pumping. And let me see, well, we did put the light out, so that means if somebody else comes in here now, they're going to have to wait till one of us is done. So maybe it's not as good as I thought it was, but we just caught lag time when no trucks were in here, so there was room for 2 of them to unload. So, but we're both unloading at the same time. I don't know what's going to happen when we come back with the next one. I guess we'll have to wait and see. Alright, so we're done, and we are headed back out, coming out here to Yakko's Hot Dogs and Route 100. It looks a little stormy to the northwest again. Maybe I'm misreading what today's weather pattern is going to be like. But I looked at the radar, and it looked like the stuff was going to stay pretty much northwest. And this guy can make a right on red here. I won't be able to, but he will. See, now the trucks are coming again. I don't know if I'll get a break or not. But, yeah, it's kind of dark and gray up there to the northwest again, so just like last time, we may run into rain before we get up there to the well. Now, I got one more truck coming who's lollygagging compared to the rest of these. Nope, now those guys are gonna go. The light just turned red. I could be a moron and gas on it and go out ahead of them, but that ain't right. So there's only 3 of them there anyway, so patience is a virtue. Now we can go. Right turn on red's legal there, but you just gotta do it when it's safe to do so. So I don't know, I guess we'll see what we run into when we head up 100 here and up 309 past the high school again. But yeah, it looks a little shady up that way again. So, I don't know. Let's move left here. Let them come out. And then we may as well stay left. once we're over here, we may as well stay left because I don't know if anybody else is coming down this other ramp here. So, as it turns out, nobody, but this guy's coming up my right side anyway, so may as well just stay here, like I said. Splat, splat, splat. It did start raining again. It didn't look like it on radar. It looked like it was going to stay up north, but I guess while the individual cells are moving southwest to northeast, the whole shield of precipitation, or shields of precipitation, must be moving from west to east, because it looked like most everything was going to miss us for the next couple hours, and here we are getting some rain again. But I don't mind it. If it rains while we're in the driver's seat, and it stops raining when we're at the well in the plant, that worked out just fine, and we don't get wet. Let's see if we can maintain that kind of pattern the rest of the day. All right, so loading up the last one, and this is why I like this place so much, is nobody's here. This is about as peaceful and quiet a loading facility as you're gonna get. There's no other trucks here, no other people here usually. Don't have to really worry about anybody catching me filming or anything like that. So this is a good place to load. Plus, yeah, the traffic light down there at 309, you don't have to worry about pulling out onto that hill and possibly cutting somebody off because you can't see them. And so I enjoy loading up here. I would load up here all the time if he'd let me, but he moves us around from well to well, so we usually load where they tell us to load unless things get jammed up or something happens to one of them. Sometimes this one gets hit too hard and then it won't produce, and then we got to go to another one. But otherwise, I like coming here. This is probably the best well to load out of. All right, so I totally misread the day. I mean, I didn't, but I did. I didn't know when the showers were going to come, but boy, we got those few light rain showers or moderate rain showers, and now it kind of really cleared off, and the sun came out. It's 79 degrees. Temperature shot back up. It's another summer-like day. Although I did tell you early this morning that the storms probably weren't going to come till after 4 o'clock, and I look at my clock, and right now it is exactly 4 o'clock, so I don't know when they're going to come through, if they come through, but the preliminary stuff didn't amount to much and cooled the air off for a little bit, and then once the sun came out, the temperature shot back up again. So can't complain about that. I get one extra summer-like day out of this. I thought that it was going to be a little cooler and damper this afternoon, and it's actually very, very nice. And we didn't get wet at all. Like I said, the rains that we did get were all while I was driving the truck. There was none each time we loaded. There was none when we unloaded the last one. It doesn't appear that there's going to be any when we unload this one. So it's going to be a nice day today. Gonna finish it off nice. All right, so we're down here, we're unloading. There was one guy here, but I was able to start my pump even though he was unloading, so it's running 2 at a time at least right now, and but he left, so now I can talk to you for a little bit. Man, it got beautiful out here, like I was telling you coming down here. It was 70 degrees in my backyard up in the coal region, and the rain came and it knocked it down 5 degrees to 65. And those rains pushed out, and now the temperature's up to the warmest it's been all day. It's up to 75 up there, so it's probably about 80 down here. Like I said, it's just gorgeous. But this is the end. Cold front comes through tonight. I don't know what time. All the rain was supposed to be preliminary ahead of the cold front. Cold front comes through tonight, and tomorrow chills off, and it gets windy. And so I'm at 40-mile-an-hour gusts and a high only in the low 40s. So tomorrow gonna feel awfully cold after 3 days of 75 plus. So we're enjoying it while we can, and it's gonna change. So, but anyway, in a little while we'll be done, and then we'll head up there and do the normal fuel up and put some DEF in it for her, and then park it and go home. Well, I just looked at our weather forecast because I was talking to our guy that had come in, telling him about how this warm weather was going away and that next week was going to be cold. And I pulled up the National Weather Service web page to show him the forecast because he didn't believe me. I said, yeah, it's going to be in the low 30s next Tuesday and Wednesday. So when I went to show him, I saw the map, and we are not done with the severe weather yet because we have a tornado watch. Not even a severe thunderstorm watch. We got a tornado watch. So there's a chance for some really big stuff tonight. If something will spin up, I don't know. I told you earlier on about how if the sun were to come out, it would destabilize the atmosphere. Now, we had that little bit of rain a few hours ago, and that probably moistened things up, added a little more humidity, and then the sun came out, and so destabilized things. And that's a recipe for some big storms. Like I said, not everybody's gonna get them. You know, they're usually hit and miss. In fact, a lot of times most places don't get them. Just maybe 3, 4, 5 distinct locations that will get severe weather, but the potential's there. So much so that they issued a tornado watch for the area, which caught me off guard because I really wasn't expecting to see that. But so hopefully we get done, and hopefully one thing we don't get is hail, because it just does damage. I mean, wind can bring trees down and stuff like that, but hail just damages everything it hits. Cars, these trucks. You know, I don't need my car to look like a golf ball, and it will, because I haven't told you guys yet because I wanted to reveal it in the video, but I'll tell you now. I got rid of the black Jeep, and I now have a white GMC Terrain. Think for a minute. A GMC Terrain AT4. So if it gets some hail damage, it truly is going to look like a golf ball because it's white. So hopefully we don't get anything severe tonight. Hopefully it misses us or it doesn't pan out. But we will see. Like I said, it caught me off guard to see that we were under a tornado watch. But anyway, we're done. We're heading back up and get fuel, get DEF, all that good stuff, Parker, and go home. All right. So we are parked. We are done. We did all our paperwork, and all I got to do is walk around, kick the tires, and just take a peek at the truck, make sure everything's all right. Looks like it started raining again after I parked the truck, but I'm kind of ticked off, and another reason why I want to get rid of that Insta360 is I decided I was going to do a different way of closing out the video. I was going to do it while I was doing the paperwork, and I had that white camera on shooting back at me like I do when I'm driving, and it recorded 10 seconds worth of video and shut down. I didn't say any magic words. I didn't say stop recording or anything like that. It just decided it didn't want to record anymore. So I got 10 seconds worth of starting and filling out my paperwork, and then it shut down. So I got to get rid of that camera and get a better camera to shoot back at myself, do that selfie stuff. Like I said, DJI makes a version of the same camera, and probably better quality. So, but that kind of frustrated me right here. We had a good day, and right there at the very end, it had to go sideways. But anyway, that being said, we're done. We're going to go and talk to the mechanic a little bit, and then we're going to head home.